Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly."
I find that if you fill your day and your mind with productive things, the negative things are those things.
One of the most fulfilling parts of a coach's job is when you see either your former players or assistants do well on their own when they venture out to whatever, whether they put up their own business or they handle and coach their own team as the head coach, and they achieve success in doing so, provides us coaches with immeasurable sense of satisfaction. For our episode today for Coaching Chronicles, one such person that whose success has given me personally been a source of immense pride. Not that I had a lot to do with it, but I've really watched his career take off after working with him for so many years. Coach Yuri Escueta, the head coach of the San Beda Red Lions, current NCAA champion team, is here to share with us his personal journey, the adversities he's gone through as we go through his coaching chronicles, as he has gone through the coaching arena. Welcome, Yuri. Salamat. Thank you for accepting our invite to guest.
Good afternoon, Coach. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, of course. I wouldn't say no to you. So, thank you for having me.
Oh, from the start, I did not twist Yuri's arm. I asked him if he had some free time because we wanted to invite not only the top professional national coaches, but also the champion coaches, especially from the collegiate ranks. So we have the NCAA champion here. We are going to have the UAP champion coach very soon as well. So tradition namin dito sa Coaching Chronicles, Yuri, with our guests is for you to just begin with a brief background. How did you start personally? We all know that you played for the Ateneo, and then how did you get to break into coaching and then eventually to become the head coach of the Red Lions?
Well, yun nga, as you said, Coach, when I was playing for Ateneo, looking at yung next stage of my career is going to the pros. And when I was playing in the PBL back then, I tore my ACL. But realistically also, I didn't really see myself playing in the pros and battling out with other players for short contracts. So back then I already had a daughter.
Okay.
So my eldest. So yun nga, going back to when I was playing in my last year, I was already in my master's, so I had a lot of time after and before practices. So this gave me time to be in the basketball office with my coaches, Coach Sandy, Coach Jamike, and the other coaches, Coach John. This was during Coach Norman's time.
Coach Norman Black was the head coach.
Coach Norman Black was the head coach. Yes, my head coach in Ateneo. And seeing them work really inspired me, and how they influence. Because of course, if you're a player, you wouldn't appreciate that much yung coaches mo.
Yeah.
Especially being young.
Yeah.
Diba? But seeing them work before practices, and it really influenced a lot in the way we played. And yun nga, sabi ko, pag player ka, hindi mo na-appreciate, no? Kami naman naglalaro eh. Diba? Yung mga coaches naman, gano'n lang eh. Pero how they prepared for games, how they prepared us for the game plan, yung preparation nila.
Hindi pala ganun-ganun lang.
Oh, hindi pala ganun. Hindi pala ensayo lang, hindi shooting lang, hindi ano. So it's inspired me to to be a coach also like them. So sabi ko, this could be a track that I can pursue. So that's how I started. And then yun nga, when I graduated and finished playing, The first call that I got was from Tita Debbie Tan. Tita Debbie was with Smart back then. Tapos she was the supporter. She was the manager slash mom of the team. And she knew that I wanted to start coaching. So when there was an opportunity to coach for the women's team as an assistant to start
Women's team ho?
Ateneo.
Okay.
This was with Coach Epo Kimpo was the head coach.
Yeah.
So they invited me to be one of their assistants to start to learn and start coaching, and it was a good experience for me. It tests your patience with teaching women's. Because of course you're used to playing with athletic players. Yung skill level was high. Now you're teaching yung women's. Siyempre, of course, you have to adjust yung teachings mo to their yung capabilities nila. And it really helped me test my patience. And that's when that's how my coaching started. Tapos eventually, when I think after 3 years, they invited me to be the head coach of the Team B. Ateneo Team B.
Ateneo.
Ng Ateneo Team B. That's when Ice.
Okay, okay.
Si Ice.
My youngest boy.
Ice. So I coached Ice, and I was able to. The good thing about being the head coach of a Team B, kahit na, and that's when also they invited me to be part of the staff ng seniors. So binitawan ko na yung women's. Nag-seniors na ako, tapos they gave me the Team B. Pero ang major role ko was the Team B. The good thing with the Team B, of course, you learn from Coach Norman, tas back then, naging Coach Bo na yun, is that you're able to, as the head coach, you can do whatever you want with the team. Not whatever you want, but you can experiment. You can experiment
yes.
from the teachings that you learn from them coaches. And yun nga, you can think critically what you can do. Because every year is a different team.
Okay.
1 year you have, this was the start of foreign athletes. Ateneo started getting foreign athletes, and it was Ike Chibuise's first year.
Okay.
So medyo challenging kasi you have to teach this yung mga foreign students ito nung basketball eh.
Okay.
Yes, they're malaki sila. Pero
di marunong mag-basketball.
And again, it also helped me be patient in teaching these guys. So yun, iba-iba. Every year was a different team, so you have to adjust every year to whatever the team A is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So yun, until Coach Bo came, I was still handling the Team B.
Okay.
Coach Tab came, I was still handling the Team B. Hindi ko talaga binitawan yung Team B.
So Team B and then assistant with the seniors of Team A.
Yes, Team A. Yeah.
And you were already with Talk and Text, wala pa?
I came to Talk and Text in 2017 on Coach Tab's second year.
Okay.
Coach Tab's second year, when Coach Mark Dickel came.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2017.
So when you were with Talk and Text, you were still assistant sa Ateneo, right?
Yes, Ateneo.
Pero wala na yung Team B, binitawan mo na?
Hindi, andun
Or
pa rin yung Team B, Coach. Andun pa rin yung Team B. So yun naman. So additional learning from TNT. And naigagawa pa yung mga yun sa Team B. So talagang makapag-experiment ka.
So very uncanny the similarities ng aming career because ako rin, very early, I was I was a starter on our UAP team way back, 84 seniors, but I hurt my knee, and so I didn't think I would have a chance at the pros. Not that I think I could have made it, because I don't think I had the height to make it. And so I took a look at coaching. I was inspired as well by the coaches that I had, Chito, Oji Narvasa, Father James O'Brien in Ateneo. And then I was coaching 3 teams, just like you at that time. I was Tim Cohn's assistant at Alaska. I was coaching Burger Machine in the PABL pa nun. And then I was the head coach of the Ateneo Seniors. So,
actually, Coach, if you can remember, I always try to ask yung questions nung before sa'yo. Yung natanda ko nung kinuwento mo sa akin, yung how you started.
yeah.
Yung naalala ko, it was really it really inspired me to work harder. Yung kinuwento mo sa akin na how you commute in the morning.
5 a.m. yung practice namin sa parang sa'yo, sa San Beda, 5
So,
a.m. practice, yeah.
And yun nga, it was really, for me, it was a big inspiration for me, Coach. Kaya, yun yung mga ganun, nagkatanong ako lagi sa'yo eh. So, paano yung Coach nung mag-work ka, tapos you had the...
And I was working at the time at Pure Foods as well. So that's where I call that my MBA in coaching, handling 3 teams at the same time. But that was very special because, like you, I was learning from Tim Cohn as his assistant, but I also had my own team where I was able to run my own stuff and make our own mistakes. Nakita mo rin ba yun? You saw that as well?
Yes, Coach, of course. You learn from the good stuff and also yung mga mistakes. And also yun nga, if you're the one who's handling the team, you're the one who's making calls. And being able to make calls is big. Kasi ito ba, you're the decision maker, so it's not just you who you are responsible of. You're responsible of the whole 15 players and staff.
Yeah.
And even the school. So
The alumni. Mas lalo na pinaka sa college. Yes.
Talagang you really have to, make good, calculated decisions.
So that got you now after ilang years ago with us at Talk and Text before the San Beda job?
Before the San Beda job po, I was with TNT ng 5-6 years.
Okay.
5-6 years. Tapos, remember Coach, I asked you.
Yeah. The job opened up. Yeah, of course. We endorsed you to be the head coach, and the rest is history. Now you're the champ. So now that if you have had the chance to step back and reflect, and we have in our audience coaches in the same situation you are, maybe assistant coach, maybe coaching in high school, elementary, or wannabe coaches. They have the aspiration, the desire, the dream to be a head coach someday. What are the top 3 lessons that you can think of? I mean, there's so many lessons, but if you will distill it down to the top 3 lessons na tingin mo that can really help the audience, what do you think?
And siguro for me, number 1 is to not stop learning. Continuous learning, continuous observation from whoever. Kung may it be your head coach, Coach Chot, or yung sa Ateneo with Coach Tab, and even the opponents' coaches.
Correct, yeah.
Not just yung ano mo. So I'm swerte rin ako, Coach. I'm with the video editing, so I get to watch games every day. Siguro 3 games a day ang pinapanood ko eh. And I really, you learn from what you try to do, and just don't stop learning. Don't stop asking questions. And probably yun yung number 1 ko. Number 2 ko is to not be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. When I was in Ateneo, of course, being a staff sa Ateneo, it was I can say an achievement already for me. So I could have easily just relax and stay there.
Stay there. Yeah.
And we just won 3 championships before I left. Natalo kami nung bubble. So I remember lang again, Tita Debbie told me, kasi of course I didn't want to leave Ateneo. I was there ever since our playing. Nag-start ako noong 2004 playing until before nag-college ako, dire-diretso hanggang 2020, 21, 22.
Okay.
Nung umalis ako.
Wow.
So the relationships you build, of course, and also yung how comfortable you are with what you're doing already with Ateneo. So Tita Debbie told me nga na don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. And that's when you see yung what you are really built pagka medyo na-challenge ka na.
Yep.
And I can say yun nga, yung past 2 seasons ko with the NCA as a rookie and a sophomore head coach was really, really challenging. It really brought out the best in you.
Yeah. So just a note on the comfort zone, and I'm sure a lot of you already know what the comfort zone is, right? It's sobrang gas-gas na, and it's such a cliche term now. But I think the one who really introduced us to that concept was John Maxwell. But we tend to forget yung kumpletong phrase. Sabi ni John Maxwell, don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone, but make sure that you stay true to your gift. Sabi niya, step outside your comfort zone, but never leave your gift zone. So, yung gift zone is really your God-given talent, something that you really love doing. So would you say so Yuri, when you step outside your comfort zone of Ateneo and what you know, the relationships that you've built, you still remain true to your gift of teaching, your gift of coaching, right? Of working with players. And I think that's very, very important. And I think Yuri is a perfect example of the comfort zone, a gift zone dynamic. So the first lesson is never stop learning. Second lesson, don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone, but make sure that you stay true to your gift. And what do you think is the third?
Kung siguro medyo related dun sinabi mo is, if you love doing it, diba? If it's your passion, diba? Just go for it.
Okay.
Diba? So, yun yung isang reason bakit din why I accepted kasi even before the San Beda opportunity, there were NCAA colleges that were trying to invite me to submit resumes. And of course, being an alumnus of San Beda,
Yeah.
San Beda was really close to my heart kasi it helped me, diba? Pave nga yung basketball career ko. It gave me that opportunity. Of course, it gave me education, the Benedictine values, and yung character.
Well, for those who don't know, Yuri played high school ball, right?
po.
San Beda,
Yes.
before transferring to
So,
Ateneo.
yun nga. So it helped me to go to Ateneo.
Yeah.
And
So yung passion, yung pangatlo,
yung passion,
the third.
yes.
We get asked this question all the time. We are coaching, we love it, it's exciting, it's fulfilling, but it's such an untenured, unsecure job or occupation. What can you say to that with regards to following your passion and all that? And may pamilya ka na.
yes, coach.
So,
I heard this from Coach Tab na if you want to be a head coach, diba, you have to be ready to get fired. Don't be afraid that to be fired. So yun yung in-advise na sa akin. Diba, parang you're in borrowed time.
coaches are hired to be fired. Diba?
But yun nga, if you're afraid, pag kukunin mo yung trabaho, tapos yun ang, that's what you're thinking, diba?
Wag mo na.
Diba?
Correct.
So,
That's a very valuable insight for all the wannabe coaches. Don't be afraid if you're coaching and you're afraid to be fired. If you're coaching to not get fired, wag mo na lang. Don't do it na lang.
so yun nga, yung reason nga for me is of coaching is aside nga, is my passion really. So whatever happens, diba? You know, I just make sure I did my best, and whatever I can share to my players, not just yung winning. It's not just winning. Yung coaching ko sa San Beda.
Yeah.
It's more than that. The winning is just a byproduct of whatever we're trying to do, the culture we're trying to build in San Beda. So, yun. Talagang ano.
Nababasa, nakikinig ako na yung tanong ng mga ibang tao sa sabihin. Yeah, okay, so do you have a backup plan? What's your backup in case, knock on wood, suddenly, di ba? Because we're in such an untenured job.
Well, I'm lucky that I'm still with TNT. So, yung backup ko si Coach Chot. My wife and I, well, we're trying to build yung chain of preschools here in Manila.
Yes.
And not just in Manila, ngayon we're trying to look also in the provinces. And yun, probably having a business is one of the backup plans.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's another powerful lesson. And if you have the wherewithal, if you have the opportunity, as much as we love coaching, go into coaching with all your passion, with your entire being, di ba? All in ka dapat if you really want to coach. But if at all possible, make sure that you have a backup plan. It's I guess one of the most practical nuggets of wisdom that we can share, and we're glad Coach Yuri is here as a perfect example of somebody who's doing what he loves, who's right in his now in his comfort zone, right in his passion, but still always with that backup plan. As you were talking about it, a lot of people don't know that. Kasi ganun talaga if you're from the outside looking in, sarap ng buhay naman ni Yuri, swerte, ang ganda ng swerte naman to. But people don't know what's going on behind, right? And the adversities that we go through. And I know for a fact that you went through a very personal adversity as well. Would you mind sharing it to the audience? And I think we all could learn a lot from yeah.
Well, actually, in that experience, that experience really helped me a lot as a person in terms of facing my challenges and testing my character and yung what I'm built of, yung
What you're made of.
what I'm made of. Yeah, it really tested me a lot. But that experience, Coach, if para just to tell you, Coach, alam niyo anong Coach?
For what?
Back in 2018, before 18-19, late 18, I was diagnosed with stage 1 papillary cancer. It's a cancer of the thyroid. And of course, being young and having a family, it really messed your mental state. And it's just what I told lang my wife. Of course, I didn't want to show naman my family. Actually, I didn't tell my mom and my dad when I was diagnosed.
Talaga.
Kasi matanda na sila. I didn't want them to worry. And I was lucky naman that MVP company was taking care of me. Pero the challenge was really what will happen if hindi maging successful yung operation, and having 3 kids and a wife na yung kids ko nasa elementary pa lang. So yung mga ganung bagay, maiisip mo talaga, maiisip mo. So it really tests yung character mo tsaka yung what you're made of. But again, ang binalikan ko lang, Coach, is yung being an athlete ko. Being a student athlete actually in Ateneo, where you are challenged every day, academically and physically sa sports, being used to handling adversities in basketball.
Yep.
Yun lang yung side na bil ko, binalikan ko. Yung every time na naghirap ako na gumising ng maaga para pumasok at natatapos ng gabi sa practices. So sabi ko sa sarili ko and sa wife ko na if ever kung sa akin man binigay yung ganitong situation, yung
That having cancer.
having the stage 1 cancer nga is sa akin is kasi kaya ko. Alam ko na kaya ko. Kasi pag-uwi kami nun nung sinabi sa amin ng doctor na yun nga yung diagnosis. So yung wife ko umiiyak sa car. Siyempre hindi ko pwede pakita na
Ikaw rin.
oo, di ba? Pero sabi ko sa kanya, huwag kang mag-alala, kaya ko to. Kasi sumadwit nga ako Ateneo, hindi naman ako dapat. Di ba? So yung mga ganun
Na talagang graduate ka, nagpapal ka talaga.
na pinaghirapan mo, Coach.
Yeah,
Yung mga bagay na pinaghihirapan mo.
Hirap talaga.
Oo. Yung mga bagay na pinaghihirapan mo. So, yun lang yung binalikan ko, Coach. And it really gave me yung strength and inspiration to face yung cancer na na-diagnose ka sa akin.
So that one piece, what else? What are the other things that allowed you to go through that allowed you to overcome it?
Of course, yung my faith in God, believing that He wouldn't put me in this situation.
That faith that kaya binigay sa iyo kasi kaya.
Kasi kaya ko. And nandi ako also, I can't give up for my kids.
Because you were fighting for something.
Yes. Yeah.
You had to live for something.
Yes, I had to live for something. Pero ang dami kong realization, coach, nung ano yun sa span of 3 to 4 months yun Going back and forth to the hospital. Sleepless nights yun, coach, kasi hintay mo yung results after 2 days. Diba?
So, ano yung mga realizations?
Just what's important. It's really important in life. Which is really time.
Time.
Time. And yung time with your family and your loved ones. So, kasi nung bata-bata ka, it's all about,
Yep.
the material stuff, being able to, buy this, that.
Good time.
Good times, yung mga ganun. But when I was during that period, you realize what's really important. And one of the things that I realized is yung importance also of mga opportunity given to you.
Okay.
That's why ngayon every opportunity, and you try to take advantage of it. That's why when the opportunity nga nung San Miguel job came, when it was offered, I asked you what you think about it. Sabi mo nga, ano yan? Good opportunity.
Yes.
Diba?
Take it.
Yun yung exact words na mo sa akin, naalala ko, coach.
Kailan pa?
So yun yung kasama yun doon sa mga realizations ko. The importance of family and time, taking advantage of every opportunity given to you.
So ang ano natin kasi yung ating podcast, it's really about really what learning from the adversity. Kaya Coaching Chronicles, the men and women in the arena. For the listeners, very important even when I run my workshops, the talks I give, is not only imparting information, but because we're coaches, we really talk about the how-to, not only the know-how. So, ano yung learning mo that you can share na very practical lessons that you can share with our audience about adversity? What did you learn from that adversity? It's battling cancer is a very significant adversity, is a very huge adversity. So what are the top 3 lessons that you can share with our audience from coming out of that episode in your life?
Siguro, number 1 is facing adversities head on.
Don't run away from it.
Coach, yes.
Harapin mo.
Diba? Just having that yung lakas ng loob na harapin mo. Just like coaching.
Okay. Sabagay, kalaban mo na dyan, hindi mo pwede takbuhan yun.
Saka all the challenges that's given sa coaching. Diba? Kaya coach, yung after that experience of mine, yung mga challenges sa coaching, wala yan, kaya ko yan. Oo. Yun yung isma na.
Yun ang naano ko noon. Before, when I was with Pure Foods, when I got fired, as in I had nothing. The next day, hindi ko alam anong papakain ko sa pamilya ko, and so on and so forth. And so now when people ask me, hindi ka ba nape-pressure in the close game? Game lang yun eh. I've gone through worst pressures before when I had nothing to na ipapakain sa pamilya ko. So one is to face adversity head on. What else? What did you learn? If you think of
number 2 is your support system, coach.
Support system is so important. Yes.
Of course, my wife was there during that period. I had the support of all the coaches that I know.
Your network.
Your network, yes. Of course, Boss
Ella
MVP.
Arben.
Yes, Ella Arben, si Boss MVP. Father Nemi.
You said you did not tell your parents at first, but later on sinabihan.
During the day of the operation, pinapunta na sila ng wife ko. So sinabi na lang namin na may operation ako.
Talaga? So anong reaction nila?
Yung dad ko kasi cool lang eh. Hindi niya papakita sa'yo na worried siya. But of course, yung mom ko nag-worry. Yeah. So, yung when I was in the operation, coach, alam niyo ata to, nung nasa operating room ako, ang sinabi kasi sa akin is, of course, they want you to expect the worst. Diba? Na, baka nga may umabot daw na nodes sa chest ko. So, just be ready if may umabot. Abot yung operation hanggang dibdib.
Wow.
Diba? So, but luckily nga, having a good doctor in...
my classmate, my good friend, Dr. Randy Lopa.
Si Dr. Lopa. Sabi naman niya, na nakita naman niya lahat and tanggal niya. And so far, so good, coach. That was 5 years ago.
How about your kids? Did they know? I know they were pretty young.
My eldest,
yung
eldest ko knew that I was coming back and forth to the hospital for checkups. Hindi rin pa niya masyadong maintindihan kasi parang mga grade 5 grade 5 pa siya doon. But yun nga, she knows that I was in the hospital.
So face the adversity head on. Does the value of your support system. Number 3. Ano yung pinaka natutunan mo doon? Anong mababahagi natin sa ating audience? Yeah.
Siguro it's just yung ako yung coach yung tiwala lang sa
your faith.
Your faith. Coming from a Catholic school, like Benedictine values niya and Jesuit teachings, malaking bagay sa challenging times yung hindi po ako sobrang religyoso, coach.
Yeah.
But I can say I try to go to mass every Sunday. I also try to pray at night.
Yes.
But yung faith nyo gives you strength also of yung mga ganong situation. So, yun kaya yung coach, again, lahat ng nangyayari ngayon sa buhay ko.
So, it's the entire episode kasi nadaanan mo yun has made you a better coach and a better leader.
Yes, coach. And a better father.
A better friend or a better person.
Yes, coach. Ganun po.
Kasi mas na-appreciate mo ngayon
yung lahat ng bagay.
Everything, even the little things, right?
The little things.
Things that we used to take for granted. And I think that's one of the things that comes out of our ability to get through adversity is a better appreciation. If you had a superpower, anong tingin mo ang superpower mo?
Pwede po muna ng superhero, coach.
Yeah.
Actually, favorite ko si Spider-Man, coach. Kasi, just yung demeanor niya of being neighborhood Spider-Man, being one of the many people in the neighborhood, pero meron siyang special skill to help everyone also.
So yun ang ano mo. That's your kasi yun ang idol mong superhero. So parang if you're going to talk about it as a superpower is just being parang one of the guys.
One of the guys, but at the same time,
and ability to help.
Yes, but at the same time, you have that power to help everyone.
Well, very well said. Very well. Yes. Just before we wrap things up, one of our big advocacies, even for me in my Future Fit Leadership Framework, the Heart of a Leader, for me, the foundation of all great leadership is health. And I'm sure, sa paniwala ko kasi, if you're not healthy enough, if you're always on sick bay, you won't even be present to be able to lead your people, right? I think that takes on a special perspective given what you've gone through. But can you share with us your physical fitness? So, nagkakasabay kami sa weights room ni Yuri. So, what is your fitness regimen? What's your routine? Yeah.
Well, before I got sick, coach, siyempre, I was an athlete. So, inisip ko, healthy ka.
Yes.
Diba? Healthy ka, you're invincible, you're strong. But after nga that
incident
episode,
yeah.
after the incident, of course, I try to eat healthy as I can. But with my wife, every day we wake up at 5 a.m. and we go to the gym. Ngayon, medyo matanda na rin, coach. We try to go to the gym at 5 a.m. before work, 5 to 6. Kasi may practices in San Beda is usually nag-start ako ng 7. So, after ng 1 hour gym ko, namin ng wife ko, that's when I go to work. So, I try to go to gym every day, religiously.
Why?
Of course, one is to be healthy. Another one is to spend time with your wife, which is healthy.
That's very healthy for us. Yeah.
Which is healthy because less stress.
Do you feel it makes you a better coach when you are able to go to the gym?
Actually, yes, coach. Being able to, make your mind work early in the morning. Ano, coach, I'm a morning person. I sleep, maaga ako matulog. I try to sleep. Lights off na kami sa bahay namin ng 8.
Huh? Wow. That's really early. Yeah.
So, kasi yung kids ko, pinapatulog namin maaga also. So maaga kami matulog. Tapos we try to wake up early. And important sa akin yung nakapag-gym kami sa kahit sa wife ko. She always tells me pag hindi kami nakapag-gym, parang bigat ng katawan niya sa work niya. So, same thing for me. It brings you
a lot of energy. Yeah.
And it's needed. Yeah. Especially as the head coach. Yeah. Kasi you have to be the example that shows a lot of enthusiasm and energy in practices. And that energy you try to share with your players. Especially with these young athletes.
Correct. Yep. Very good point. Yes.
These young athletes with social media and, holding their phones late at night.
Yes.
Of course, we try to tell them to sleep early, but hindi mo maiwasan yan. May mga iba, hindi makatulog. So, sa morning, medyo mabigat, matamlay. Yeah. You try to lift them up also with your energy and your enthusiasm.
Very well said. So, from Coach Yuri Escueta himself, coming through some real tough personal adversity, the 3 lessons that he imparts, just to repeat. Number 1, face the adversity head on. Number 2, the value of your support system. And then number 3, the value of your faith. Having your faith and also faith in yourself, I guess that's also very important. And those are the things that he can impart. And, for somebody who has gone through what he has gone through, the good thing, if ever there's a good thing from all of this, is that it has made him a better leader. It has made him a better coach, because now he's able to appreciate the little things, the blessings, and even take and look at the challenges that he faces in his job as a head coach in a very different light. And so can you, to our audience. Like I said, the men and women in the arena, they are bloody, they are bathed in sweat, they get the brunt of the criticism, but we'd much rather be there than on the sidelines, be there where the action is. So, Yuri, maraming salamat. Some very great insights from the head coach, the current NCAA champion, the San Beda Red Lions, Coach Yuri Escueta. And thank you for joining us in this episode of the Coaching Chronicles, the men and women in the arena.